It turns out a lot of you really enjoyed watching Warcraft 3 go up against StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a tournament finals. Spotting right here with the red humans. I don't really know much about Warcraft 3, so be prepared for terrible commentary. Playing with the red... What are we gonna do? We're gonna make a barracks and altar of kings. Okay, playing right here with the red humans, we have none other than Macsed, StarCraft 2 professional gamer. His opponent in the top right, playing with the pink SCVs. We're looking at Lawliet's main command center. And Lawliet is a Warcraft 3 Night Elf player. A Night Elf pro gamer. Both of these guys very successful in their respective games in their respective regions. This time around, they're playing for a couple $100. Playing the Warcraft 3 versus StarCraft 2 mod. Now, apparently there's also, I don't know if it's this mod or if it's another one, but somebody mentioned recently that there is also a StarCraft 1 versus StarCraft 2 versus Warcraft 3 mod now, where you can play any of it in one mod. So you could technically have Warcraft 3 versus StarCraft 1. Does that go one step too far? I don't know. It might get a little bit messy. Anyways, if you've never seen this mod before, it's pretty self-explanatory. You have, of course you have, a random creep around the map that you can use to level up your heroes. Heroes get abilities, everything has been scaled up to a reasonable level, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by the balance. So I did cast another series very recently, where the games were actually incredibly close. That was Macsed going up against Lawliet. Very impressive set of matches where the games just kept going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and it was super sick. So I'm hoping that this one is going to be similar. I haven't actually seen an Archmage first yet, so that's what we're going to be doing. Generally speaking, from what I remember from watching a lot of Warcraft back in the day, you go for a Water Elemental build. Water Elemental seems to be so cursed already. We have a Footman killing an SCV building a command center. Yeah, you gotta be careful, because these units are obviously scaled up, right? So Warcraft 3 units, in general, you don't get nearly as many of them. So obviously, well, you would imagine a single, like this is not a Zealot. This is a unit that is significantly better than a Zealot. You would imagine that normally Marines would be able to counter this pretty easily, but not the case. Looks like we are gonna summon indeed in a Water Elemental, and we're gonna start working on the Null Camp. So there is an inventory system. It's a little bit cursed in the interface over here, but obviously heroes, they spawn with a Town Portal scroll. And apparently he just got a Slippers of Agility. Not very useful here for this hero, but maybe he can pass it along to something else. Oh, wait, what? This one was also dropped. Why did I not pick that up? I think you're supposed to pick that up, sir. Anyways. The thing is, normally you want to be a little careful losing units. Well, for obvious reasons, because if you lose units, you lose them. I know, crazy. This is why you guys come to my content, right? Just to get that brilliant level of commentary. But in Warcraft 3, you have to also be very cautious about the fact that your opponent is going to get XP on their heroes. You don't want to be losing anything. You can technically be a bit more aggressive in this situation, because obviously, well, there's no Terran heroes here for Lawliet. I did cast a game of Lawliet playing Terran in that series against Macsed, and it was very clear to me that the man likes battle cruisers. He loves battle cruisers. Oh, we're making a wall. Didn't quite get the block. Lawliet not quite getting the Warcraft 3 surround with buildings that he was hoping for. But last time around, we didn't see him play Marine Marauder. We saw him play a lot of BCs instead. Arcane Vault right now coming up right here for Macsed. That is the shop right here for humans that he can use for all kinds of nice little benefits. Did he actually ever pick it up? No. Slippers of Agility are still just chilling over there behind all of this. Fair enough. I've been notified, by the way, that there are about 17 pronunciations for the name Lawliet. Some people say Lawliet, Lawliet, Lawliet. In Dutch, the IE sound right next to each other is pronounced as a long E in English. So I'm gonna go with Lawliet, because it seems most natural to me. I think you'll probably hear most Dutch people pronounce this as Lawliet, because it just makes sense. Lawliet doesn't sound right. Anyways, we have a militia group going across the map right now. This is the peasants picking up arms for just a little bit. I think this is gonna run out by the time you get across. Yeah, he wanted to go for a big push. Decides to buy the tavern hero over here as well. I believe this is the one that can summon in the little dudes, right? Yeah, the lava spawns. There they are. Every single one of these things, though, has a timer. And yeah, exactly. When the peasants arrive on the other side of the map, looks like some of them have their rollerblades on. It's a little funky. But... Oh, we're tower rushing? Oh, God, we're tower rushing. I thought he was making a mistake when he sent them in as militia, but I guess he just maybe figured there's a chance I can find them as we come across the map. He's going to use them, though, to build up structures here. These units are actually hit like trucks, though. Killing the siege tank is quite important. It has a good chunk of HP remaining. SCV repairing it as well here for Lawliet, who's trying to keep all of this around. This bunker's actually doing reasonably well. And this has actually not been a terrible fight for the Terran player, I don't think. He did lose a bunch of his stuff, and he hasn't really killed that much yet of the... The problem is, how in the world is he gonna kill the towers? If you siege up a tank over here, do you think it's within range? We're going for an arcane vault over here, too, to continuously get potions and other supplies. This is so cursed. I have seen many things in my days, but I've never seen a Terran player get tower rushed. Tower rushes have been around for a long time. Now, general rule of thumb in StarCraft 2 is to not, I guess, cannon rush? Is it similar? I guess. Tower rush or cannon rush a Terran player because their structures can fly. Not the engineering bay in StarCraft 2. But you can just fly away here. Problem is, obviously, the slow push will continue. Bunker actually taking a tremendous amount of damage. An Arcane Sanctum right now as well, coming up inside of the main base here for Macsed. Doing a good job keeping all of this around. Decides to switch to shop. Yeah, uses a bunch of brews here, Clarity Potion as well. Just getting buffs across the board for all of his units. So they're going to be regenning. There's also Brilliance Aura coming up from the mage here, so that's basically just giving a passive mana regeneration here as well. And that means we can see more and more dudes getting spawned in. Now, Lawliet does have the supply advantage here. Oh, Siege Tank right now taking a beating. Yeah, I think that supply advantage is going to disappear pretty rapidly. He's alive, mostly due to these bunkers. What a game. Now, I'm not exactly sure as to the rules of the tournament. I tried reading them, but turns out my Chinese is not very good. Chinese tournament organizer. I'm pretty sure you can't play the same race twice in a row. So I'm fairly sure you have to switch. I'm not sure if it's like loser switch or winner switch or whatever, but there is certainly a chance we are going to see a little bit of variety. Lawliet, usually a Night Elf pro gamer, so he usually plays Night Elf in Warcraft 3. Starts off this series as Terran. Although, in that series against Macsed, we did at some point have Warcraft 3 going up against Warcraft 3 on El Dorado, so on a StarCraft 2 map. It's a little funky. Maybe we can figure out the exact ruling as we go along. Priest coming up right now here too. Nice for healing. Macsed actually denied one of his own footmen. Really, he killed one of his own footmen here? Denying XP, not really relevant against the Terran player. Very relevant though in Warcraft 3 normally. Siege tanks gunning down whatever they can, and you know what? I'm not hating this position that much for Lawliet. I have a hard time gauging these fights, but he is securing the expansion, and these bunkers are extremely difficult to break. I kind of feel like you just keep making bunkers, man. Worst case scenario, you just salvaged him. I love the idea of a Liberator. He did make a third command center too. Okay. Yeah, NG Bay over here in the front. And this bunker rush or this tower rush or whatever you want to call it, it's managed quite well. Okay, so what do we do now? Dude, this is what I'm talking about. These games are actually quite dynamic. This was meant to be a game-winning push, but it wasn't. It was a good back and forth for quite a while. Now we're back to playing, I guess, a macro game, sort of? Well, another expansion has been secured here by the human player. The bases, by the way, all come with 2 gold mines each. And you can put a maximum of 3 workers on them. The mineral fields over here are lumber. It's a little bit confusing. Also because this obviously at the top of the screen, you're very used to reading it from gold to lumber, but I believe it's in reverse because of it. Yeah, look at these guys. Chopping wood. How beautiful is that? Lawliet against Macsed did very similar things. He kept hiding bases. And I do quite like the idea here. I don't think it's a bad call at all. He's once more, well, rather than going for the conventional third base, he's once more just skipped one of these expansions and decides to hide a base a little bit further to the left. Combat Shields is going to finish up. Nearly 11 minutes into the game. I don't think these Terran builds are entirely optimal, but he does have a good chunk of supply now. The workshop is coming up here, so maybe we can go for some siege weaponry in a moment. It seems like human is very good. I will say, human in general seems to be very strong. Yeah, so he's got the heal ability over here on the priest. That allows him to passively heal everything up. We get the Brilliance Aura here as well to regen mana on everything passively. So there's a lot of gains to be made here as the human player. But I don't think he's going to have an easy time breaking through all of this Terran turtling. Problem, of course, here for Lawliet is that his main base is running low. We're 11.5 minutes into the game now. Where are we going to take that one? Really? He loves hiding expansions. I think you go for this now, man. Maybe that's where the old main base is going to fly to instead. He just keeps making command centers. Anyways. Even though this build order here for Terran is quite suboptimal, he is going to arrive at a reasonably good unit composition. I just don't know how good it truly is against, well, human here, right? So there is an upkeep system in this game too, only for the Warp 3 player. So right now, since we're above 60 supply, Macsed has hit low upkeep, meaning that his income is not going to be as good anymore. In Warcraft 3, it's quite common to try and avoid upkeep as much as possible, or at the very least to attack, to prevent you getting into hard or high upkeep. Got some nice items now, but he needs to make a decision. He needs to do something. I don't think he can really just sit back here for a long time. Oh god, here we go again. Fusion core coming up. Good thing I got myself a bottle of water. Because this could be a very long game. I mean, when you think about it, this is not that different from pro-level StarCraft 2. I don't know how much StarCraft 2 Lawliet usually watches, but... he does have a medevac drop going into the main base. I wonder how EMP works here. As the Terran player, like, how good is EMP in this sort of scenario? Medevac drop is, yeah, quite good, but nothing amazing. Looks like we have a flying machine. But say you're the Terran player here and you EMP all of these spellcasters. Don't you just win 100% of the time? Because this entire Protoss army, this entire human army is, well, spellcaster. Uther coming up as well. Paladin on the back of this. He doesn't really have much firepower once the spellcasters are dealt with. Both of the heroes can be denied. All 3 of the heroes can be denied. Yeah, they have some base damage output too, but it's not amazing. I really wonder if you can just make EMP as a weapon of choice. Maybe it's something that doesn't counter mana? Because technically in StarCraft 2 it counters energy. In StarCraft 2 we technically don't have mana. I'm not exactly sure about the wording on that ability, but... Anyways, Lawliet has been taking every base. He's adding on additional starports. The tech labs are coming up. The fusion core is researching. When there's smoke, there's fire. And when there's weapon refit, there's gonna be battle cruisers. You love to see it. +1 air weapons coming up too. Yeah, we're just gonna sit back and turtle. We are just gonna sit back and turtle. Macsed decides to kill some rocks just because he can. Early game humans do seem to have the advantage, but the longer the game goes on, the more I like it for just the good old, well, space humans instead. We have humans versus humans. Which human is better than... Yeah, that's what we're asking ourselves. My god, look at the bunkers. Yeah, I think Lawliet may have just unlocked the perfect win condition. How in the world do you break this? I think you go Ghost Battlecruiser, dude. I feel like Ghost Battlecruiser is amazing. I think that's what you gotta do. Knight's coming up as well. Not great against Battlecruisers. Four of them coming up, all at the same time. It's funny, man. Like, whenever I play any game that is not StarCraft 2, viewers of the live stream always like to remind me of the amount of times that I don't make static defense. In StarCraft 2, static defense, relatively uncommon. Not really something you mess up before maxing out. You can see here that the mindset is very different for Lawliet. He knows that Warcraft 3 static defense is amazing, even though StarCraft 2 static defense is relatively mediocre. This is a good angle, though, here for Macsed. He actually is going to be able to kill this planetary after already killing another command center. He did kill the group, by the way, over here earlier, but did not quite catch a glimpse of that base. Anyways, Lawliet making a ton of static defense. I quite like it. There's the battle cruiser. Battle cruiser operational. The pink battle cruiser, dude. Not a color we very frequently see. Maybe they're the Emperor's children? Is that what we have? I think they're pink. Anyways. Going around the site. Griffin Aviary's coming up right now as well. Quite like that. Liberation zone set up on the gold base. Even though this is a very easy base to harass. How do you do it with these troops? Well, maybe you can have a couple of your dwarfs. Maybe just leave them behind. He's found the base in the top left-hand corner. I think he wanted to build some towers over here and then also a base, and he accidentally found an expansion. Gonna knock down the ogre camp over here. There's a talisman and then also another fatality upgrade, but not really too useful. I'm very curious how you're gonna fight this sort of army in the late game. Do you think this is beneficial for Macsed? Or do you think this is better for Lawliet? I honestly have no clue. It's very uncommon for a Warcraft 3 game to go up to even 3 bases. Going into 4 bases? I believe the supply cap for Warcraft 3 in this mod is 120. Terran can go up to 200. But obviously these Warcraft 3 units are way better than the StarCraft 2 units. And I quite like this actually, the mortar teams. Mortar! Combat! Right, like the mortar teams are going to town. They need to move back a little bit though. Whew. Barely do they stay alive. Battlecruisers in the meantime have killed one of the town halls. Looks like the rest of the human army is moving on down south as well now. Maybe down west. There's the griffins. Oh, he's got him! He's got him! I forgot about the shackles ability. But yeah, he can shackle them up in the air. This is not quite an ideal position, at least for the second one, but he does get one of them out of the skies. Alright, one of them decides to disengage. We have a flying machine just chipping away at whatever it can do. But these units are not gonna live for much longer, and those abilities last for such a long time. I think it says over there 30 seconds or 29 seconds, one of the two. My Korean is quite mean. But anyways, Warcraft abilities last for ages if you compare it to StarCraft 2. Actually, it's the same as well in StarCraft 1. Like, whenever I watch StarCraft 1, Dark Swarm seems to last like 2.5 hours. Actually kind of insane. Oh my god, we're just using it on everything now. Anything that flies, these BCs are likely going to get interrupted, although Yamatos are going to try and deal some damage. Normally Yamato one-shots practically everything in the game, but not so lucky this time around. We didn't see the Dragonhawk Riders actually from max specs at the time, but I think we should have, man. This seems amazing. Trying to move in. Terran still has a good chunk of units, but they are losing a lot more troops here than the human player. Yeah. This is ultimately a good fight right here for human. Man, he actually didn't even drop much supply at all. Wow, I didn't think he was going to be able to break this position that easily. More battle cruisers coming up, but I think this is sort of sealed the deal. He's got infinite bases. He's got a lot of money, but he can't really make an army that can deal with this effectively. I think Ghosts, man. I think he's missing out on Ghosts. I think Ghosts would have been amazing. If you can EMP these units too and they remove their energy, wouldn't that just be game over? Anyways. The units are just pounding through whatever they can. Archmage, by the way, is level 6. He hasn't even gotten the mass teleport. Apparently, we're not bothering with any of it. He's breaking through the natural. He already broke through that gold base as well. Just the carcasses of buildings remain. And now we're gonna go straight into the main base too. Looks like the death animations, by the way, last forever in this mod. Curious. StarCraft 2, they disappear pretty much immediately. I kind of like it, man. I kind of want to see more debris now in a regular StarCraft game too. Right? It's kind of nice to see all the carnage as we look back. Yeah, I think going battle cruiser is not a terrible idea, but because these games tend to last quite a long time, by the way, the finals of this tournament here, oh, it's a best of 3. So we're gonna go to match point for Macsed. Next up, we've got ourselves a Night Elf going up. Ooh, we have SCBoy, if I'm not mistaken, going up against Protoss. Let's see. So this is Lawliet's main race. This is what he's most well known for. I believe he's got roughly $300,000 in tournament earnings. Certainly a very successful player. But how in the world do you dismantle a Protoss player? I don't know. I do think that overall the Warcraft units do look a little bit stronger. Maybe a little bit too strong. It's hard for me to say. Obviously, this is still... I mean, the mod has been around for a little bit, but they've been trying to refine it more and more. Some pro games have been played on it, but it's always difficult to really make any claims as far as balance goes until you really get to seeing any of the actual matches, right? Until actual high-level players give it a shot. There is currently no meta. Look at this. This is like Supply Depot barracks. Except this barracks cannot fly, it can walk. How nice is that? Ancient of War. Ooh. I've never seen this little icon actually before. Is that the icon that Night Elves normally have in Warcraft 3? I don't think so. I don't recognize this, but maybe. Kinda pretty. Little leaf. Alright. Wolof over here from Macsed, who's going to be making an expansion here momentarily. Archer ladies coming up. And I guess we're going to go Stalkers? Yeah, Stalkers makes the most sense here. Adepts could technically work too, but I don't think you can really do a lot of worker harassment. Wisp is going to be moving across to do some scouting, it seems. What's the hero of choice going to be? Whoa, did we not start a hero? Wait a second. Are we not, am I dumb? Oh, that's why the Wisp went across the map. He bought the Beastmaster. Really? We're gonna go Rexar. So Rexar can get the bear. You can spawn him. I am not familiar with this strategy, although I don't even know if it is a strategy in normal Warcraft 3. Rexar, of course, very strong in the campaign and all that, but I'm not exactly sure what he's like in the multiplayer. Alright, easy kill right here for the Stalkers. Well, I say that. Misha, I think is the name of the bear. Yeah. It does get killed, but... Tree of Life coming up right now on the back of this. Lawliet is going to be able to take this now as an expansion. And he's teching up as well to a Tree of Ages. Man, there's actually so much variety, though, in Warcraft 3. I really like it. Maybe one day I'll get more into Warcraft 3 multiplayer as well, because it is such a lovely game. Like, I feel like if you enjoy watching StarCraft 2, It is a different experience, but most people would also enjoy Warcraft 3, I think. It is a banger of a game. Quillbore, I believe, has a ranged ability. I think this is mostly for scouting. Yeah, the Hawk. And then you get the Stampede, which is kind of neat. It's kind of a confusing ability, though. Never really seems particularly reliable. Alright, so what do you do right now as Macsed? Looks like he wants to go Glaive Adept. So Glaive's over here. Oh wow, look at that. Chrono Boost apparently shows up like that in the screen. I guess it's every buff that shows up a little bit strangely. Anyways, Glaive Adepts normally can, well, 2 or 3 shot workers, right? But in this mod, I'm not sure how it works. These units look like Marines. Are Adepts gonna be good against them? I don't know. Probably not, maybe. Whoa, he got a Claw of Attack plus 9? What? That is quick. Rexar is cooking already. I guess these are Marines with, like, the HP of way more Marines. Every single one of these Marines is, like, 6 Marines. There's a lot of Marines here. Gotta be a little careful. I'm a little afraid that, like, Rexar is just gonna murder everybody here. Okay, well, here's the surprise that Macsed had prepared for his opponent. Can it kill an archer? Yeah, it can certainly kill an archer. I like this as well, the Guardian Shield coming in. So more AoE, although it gets targeted pretty quickly. Obviously, Warcraft players are known for their micro. Rexar is just bonking away at whatever he can hit, forcing his army to retreat once more. Ancient of Wind coming up right now, 2 of them. What do you make out of those again? Is it the little cyclones, like the Druids of the Talon? I think it's the Cyclone Bros. I'm not exactly sure if that's what he would go for here, but... Rexar is hitting whatever he can hit. And we have the 255 HP Marines shooting arrows from quite a long distance. I think you need the target fire, though. Yeah, the target firing here is solid. Another one is going to go down. Rexar himself is now at only 250 HP. Honestly, a little bit risky. Archer upgrade coming up. So we're really just going to continue making just archers, it seems. I don't mind it. Those Quillbore are actually also super good. Yeah, same for the Bears. No XP gains or anything, right? So you can be quite aggressive with all of your units. Losing troops is not as punishable in this particular mod. He needs to be careful that he doesn't lose his hero. Maybe stop by the shop for a little bit and get some healing. Although he can always double tap the Scroll of Town portal. Go back home to safety. Oh, we're going Hippogriffs. Curious. I don't even know what the Hippogriff abilities are. What do these do again? Can learn the Hippogriff taming a bit. Oh, you can write. Can't you write the archers onto the Hippogriffs or something? I did that like once in a multiplayer game, and then I lost my Hippogriffs, and you lose everything. It's garbage. I don't know. Okay, maybe it's really good. I don't know. When I used it, it was absolute garbage. I think that's the plan. It is super cool. So you can effectively merge 2 units together. Couple Dark Templar, by the way. I quite like the idea of Dark Templar. I don't believe there's any detection right here for Lawliet, so he may need to be a bit careful. Yeah, Dark Templar are good, and they have very high damage, but also, I think he only just now realized it. There's a lot of invisible men, dude, chasing you around. I guess that's how he's gonna stabilize here. Well, I say that. Yeah, maybe he can stabilize, sort of, but also he's lost everything already, so what are you gonna do? GG. And that means that this series comes down to Abyssal Reef. Final map in this best of 3. Looks like we have the exact same matchup. Okay. So once more, Protoss going up against Night Elf. I really liked the Rexar build across the board, but what if the Dark Templar would have hit a little bit sooner? Obviously, a lot of this is also experimental, right? Like, how good is Glaive Adept? Was it good enough? I don't think you want to do that again. It just doesn't seem that nice. Dark Templar, however, maybe. If you rush them out sooner, I'm not exactly sure what the main source of detection for the Night Elf would be. You can obviously buy the items for it and whatnot, right? Like, there are a couple ways of getting it relatively easily, but I kind of feel like you just need, like, damage output. Like, something that deals just a stupid amount of damage. Because those Warcraft 3 units have a lot of HP, and something that's relatively delicate, like, for example, Glaive the Depths, or, well, oh, he's gonna lose him. Like, for example, Glaive the Depths, or for example, Blink Stalker. Like, yeah, it's nice, but what about, like, Immortal Archon Zealot? Like, something that just hits really hard, and that you can't really micro against. Maybe, like, Disruptors. Or, like, Quick Dark Templar, like, high damage units. I think that might be better, but I'm not sure. Just hypothesizing here. Ancient of, or Altar of Elders once more coming up. Agent of War already done. And we're gonna make Archers once again. Much faster expansion this time around for Macsed, as a matter of fact. Yeah, this is a really quick one. Last time we went double gate before making a Nexus. Everybody's playing this quite cautiously, but maybe we're throwing caution into the wind already. I think he wants to go for a Tavern build again. Is he gonna do the exact same thing? Yeah. That's why we're running a Wisp or a Worker or a unit or whatever through the map. To the Tavern. The floating Tavern. Warm your frozen boots by the fire. This is where they're playing Hearthstone, I believe. Oh, Probe coming in. He needs to wait. Yeah, he needs to wait until his stuff is done. Now he can buy something. What are we gonna buy? Hello. It's Rexar. There he is. The Beastmaster is back. Look at him swinging his arms like that, dude. Wow. Very manly. Very manly indeed. In the meantime, we've been doing some creeping over here. Rexar himself is gonna complete the wall off. We probably need to get the... We probably need to get the bear out. Exactly. And he will expand again on the back of this. Twilight Council once more for Macsed. So this is almost an identical game so far, compared to the previous one. Snatches up the Crystal Ball. Okay. It's for scanning. Kind of nice, actually. Another item. Keep in mind that you can't pick up items here as Macsed, but you can destroy your opponent's items. So that is something worth noting. We're gonna go Blink. Okay. So Macsed clearly thinking of something else entirely than what I was considering. I do think Blink is probably better than Glaive the Depths, mostly just because you can actually keep your units alive. Looks like he's got an illusion over here too. Using it to tank some of the damage here. Ring of Protection +4. Gloves of Haste as well. Okay, he decides to sell to both of them. He got himself a Mana Stone. Alright, so that's for mana regen, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just good old 4 Gateway Blink right here for Macsed. He is ready to dance. It is currently nighttime, as you can see at the top of the screen. So putting the archers on stop or hold position would make them shadow melt. Usually a little trick you can do to micro your units as well if you really want to, but I don't think that's what we're gonna see. Goblin Laboratory. Oh, is he? No, the Shredder. Are we gonna buy a Shredder? I always like the Shredders. Alright, Tree of Ages coming up. And once more, that expansion is finishing right now. The Blinky Boys. How many Stalkers do we have? There's no Prism or anything like that. No Proxy Gateway or anything along those lines. We're just gonna send them straight across the map, it seems. But this is a long map. Like, this is a map that has a super long distance. So, not really an option to warp in units at home. No, I think he was expecting aggression here from the Night Elf, but not what we saw just yet, or not what we're seeing just yet. Although he's gonna meet some of the units in the middle of the map. Let's see if this goes a little bit better. Oh, this already goes better. Yeah, you can target fire down some of these troops, and there's no easy healing right here for Lawliet. He does have a Potion of Invulnerability. It's quite nice, as an alternative to using the Town Portal, for example. Town Portal makes you go invulnerable, but the Potion of Invulnerability also does. Shadow Melt kicks in one more time, but it is almost daytime. Oh, Force Field. I love the Force Field over here. Stalkers in the meantime picking off a couple of the archers from the back. Fight at the front, not looking terrible here for Macsed either. It was just, I think he needs to target a little bit more deliberately. Okay, recall is going to be used, or TP rather is going to be used. Town portal. Same ability, different name. And he decides to send some of the units back home. But that was an important hold. If you compare it to the previous game, Macsed already almost died. Not quite the case this time around. What are we going to use the Tree of Ages for, though? What sort of hero do you get as your second here? I have no idea. Decides to go for the Scroll of Healing. Fair enough. Forge coming up. Third Nexus as well. Huntress Hole. Okay. So I'm assuming we're going to go Huntresses. And he's going for the Priestess of the Moon. Curious. Ancient of Wonders also building. Stalker's now going around the site, though. High Templar. What about Storm? How good is Storm in this game? Storm deals 80 damage. Area of effect. Archers have 255 health. The hero now has 850 health. So it's nice, but if like Rexar tanks a full Storm, he only loses 10% of his HP. How about the little summons? The little summons have 600. I don't think Storm is that amazing. I'm not sure though what you do go for. Maybe Archons would be nice. What's the damage output of one of these? 16 to 18, okay. Not terrible. Yeah, nothing too amazing either though. It's not like their damage output is incredibly high. Maybe Archons would be better. Like Archon, Zealot, Stalker, something like that. These units have any armor types? They're light biological. Okay, they do have armor types. StarCraft 2 armor types, that is. Oh! Priestess of the Moon a little bit too far forward. She does pick up a crystal ball, apparently. I think she may have just gotten that from Rexar. Good targeting here overall, though, by Macsed. Losing a couple Stalkers now, bleeding them out. Invulnerability has been used. And that's going to chase these Protoss units away. Okay. I think Disruptors would be a good play as well. Like, the Warcraft 3 units are pretty slow. Yeah, you can micro against them reasonably well, but I think if you go for... I think that would be a good play. They should be able to deal quite a lot of damage here. Not enough to really permanently change anything. Oh, that's the Crystal Ball ability right over there, if I'm not mistaken. Another Nexus is building in the meantime, though, for Macsed, who's happy to just play the macro game. Okay. Just a lot of upgrades here for the units that he's got. I was always a fan of the Huntresses, but... apparently we're not going Huntresses. We're just going Hunter's Hole. Just for the upgrading. Fair enough. Maybe we'll see some more in a moment. Chimera Roosts. Okay. So that's where we're going. We are gonna make the Brute Lord of Warcraft 3. Can I describe it like that? I think I can. Is this a good choice? I can't decide. I've got a feeling that you can just target it down relatively easily. By the way, the Huntresses are, or sorry, the Archers right now are currently invisible. Yeah, I like that move. Springs the trap, gets a Stalker or two. Second Robo facility coming up. We did have a Robo Bay, so Disruptors are a good choice here. We're gonna go Colossi instead. Well, Colossi do deal bonus against light, and Archers are evidently light biological. They're basically Hydralisks. They're basically Hydralisks with like 3 times the amount of HP. Maybe 4 times, actually. I don't know what the exact number of HP is on a Hydralisk, but... Nature's Blessing coming up as well. Upgrades all Ancient and Treants movement speed and armor. Alright. Yeah, these are Hydras, but then if Hydras were actually insanely good. Yeah, I think it's like 80 HP for a Hydra, maybe 75-ish, something like that. So these are literally Hydras with 3 times the amount of HP. Hydras into Brute Lords. It's a curious build. And in my mind, not a particularly great one. Archon count's actually super high. He made 25 Zealots. This is a large Protoss army, though. Hippogriff's also coming up. He's harassing the base from the low ground. Here comes the Colossus. Oh. Ranged upgrade not yet done. I think you want to retarget it. Okay, he decides to recall on out of here. Maybe the Priestess goes down? Nope. Saves it just barely. Good save right there. By the Night Elf player. Isn't Rexar like a half troll or something? What was his thing again? Wasn't he like half orc, half troll? I guess he's in the tavern. He's busy playing Hearthstone. Half troll, half ogre? Half orc, half ogre? Anyways. He's a bit of a legend, is what he is. Is he good enough against this sort of thing, though? Now the Chimeras have been spotted for the very first time. This looks like an amazing army for Protoss. Now, every time I've said that so far in any of the games of this mod, the StarCraft 2 player then gets demolished. Oh, he comes in with the Zealots for a surround. How do you like it now, Warcraft 3? It's a different type of surround, but it'll count. Lovely move right there by Macsed, cutting the retreat path off of all of these units. His supply count is looking ridiculous as he's now chasing this entire Night Elf army into the main base. Natural expansion is going to fall, it seems. Archons, though, trying to snipe this down. The Chimeras are drinking from the moon wells, but not a lot of juices remaining. He's got to be careful that he doesn't overextend here with the Protoss units, but I don't think he is. Nah, this is a great fight, and I think it may just be the game-winning play. The heroes are still around, so you never want to count it out, but this is just one of those setups where you just can't do that much. He needs to get up to level 6, I guess, before he can really do anything useful with the Stampede ability. For now, he just has a lot of tanking and a lot of DPS, which is nice and all. But the Quillbore and the Bears are not going to do that much. Looks like the Hippogriffs are getting sniped out of the sky. The same goes for the Chimera Roost themselves. Macsed not taking any chances. Not pushing up that ramp unnecessarily. He decides to go into the Colossi. Continues double upgrading as well in the forges. We do have a couple of Hippogriff riders on the other side of the map. So these are archers that are sitting on the back of the hippos. Anyways. Weird looking hippos, I guess. These are hippos that can fly. On the backs of the Hippogriffs. In the meantime, though, the Protoss ball is starting to break through the main. They're just targeting Nexi, by the way, and Probes. These guys actually deal a significant amount of damage. But the thing is, there's not much you can do when you don't have a main base. Rexar himself running for his life. No means of escape. He goes down, and with it, Lawliet taps out. That means that Macsed obtains the victory 2-1 in this series.